Okay, still a non-calculator percentages question. Let's have a look at this one. Calculate the number of marks you achieved on paper 1. So David sat a class test and his results are shown here. So marks available would be the total number of marks, and that's what his percentage was. Okay, so calculate the number of marks he got in paper 1. So let's just remind ourselves of what that means. That's 80 out of 100. So if the paper was out of 100, they would have got 80 marks. And same with this paper, he got 60 out of 100. Now, there's a few ways you could do this. I think I'd be inclined to turn these into simple fractions and then work out the marks. So 80 over 100 is the same as 8 tenths is the same as 4 fifths if you simplify. So dividing by 10, dividing by 2. Just write that. So divide it by 10 and then divide it by 2. Over here, you can do the exact same thing. That's going to be 6 tenths, and I can divide that by 2 for 3 fifths. And all I've done there is divide both of them by 10 and then divide everything by 2. Make sure you do the same to the top and the bottom. So that means for paper 1, so for paper 1, you'd be saying, well, you got 35 marks, so there's 35 marks available, and he got 4 fifths of the marks. What we're actually doing is kind of multiplying by 4 fifths. And it doesn't matter what order you do that in. You could do the divide bit first. Okay, so I'll do 35 divided by 5. That's going to give me 7. So then 7 times 4 is going to give me 28. So again, you could try and visualize that if you want. You get 35 marks. So there's 35 marks available, and he got 80%, which we said is 4 fifths. You can sometimes draw this out if it makes it easier for you. So you can think of your total amount. There's my total represented by like a bar. Okay. Now in that total amount, I can split that into 5 pieces, or splitting it into fifths. So saying, well, okay, if I want the equal amounts in here, what's going to be there? So that's just 35 divided by 5. That's your 7. So each fifth is one block of 7. You don't want 1 fifth, you want 4 of those. And that's where your 28 comes from. Okay, so you can try and visualize it sometimes when you do the fractions as well. Okay, just you could do the exact same thing for the 65. Divide it by 5 times by 3. Divided by 5 finds the fifth. So that'd be 13 marks, times it by 3 for 39. And the second part, so part B, I'll call that paper 1. Part B, calculate his overall percentage for the test. That's quite interesting. I think a few people would look at that and say, well, it's just the average of this, isn't it? But it's not quite, because they're not the same size of paper. He's got 80% for the smaller paper and 60 for the larger paper. So what we have to do is actually work out the total marks available and the total marks they actually got. Okay, so the total available is 100, because it's 65 plus 35, so there's 100 available. And in paper 1, he got 28. And in paper 2, we'll do the same thing. He got 65, there's 65 available, and he got 3 fifths. So that's the same, just like I did before, 65 divided by 5. So that's going to be, I'll do a wee sum there actually, just to show you. 65 divided by 5, it'll be 1, it'll be 13. And then 13 times by 3, so you got 39 marks for that one. So total available, and then total score is 39 plus 28. So that's 50, that's 67. So therefore you got 67 out of 100, which is 67%. So I'll try to be quite nice to you. Again, these questions quite wordy actually, a wee bit in them, trying to figure out what's going on. But yeah, I hope you at least if you see percentages now, you're thinking a bit about fractions and decimals and turn them in. I thought that's kind of the main takeaway from this first few videos, the first series of videos. Okay, so percentages are linked to fractions, and we use that to work out what we're looking for, because we've got a calculator. And we also were talking about the link to decimals as well. That's what we usually do with the calculator. So the next kind of series, I'll see if I can get one or two of these done, is looking at compound interest, compound percentages. So let's have a look. So a soft drink company sells that many bottles, okay? So again, I've got this many bottles. So I've used that. And it's predicted the sales will decrease by that amount and then increase by that amount. And that's in 2 years, in each of the following 2 years. Calculate sales. Now what this is all about is your compound percentage, or even just like, it's both compound and non-compound. If I want to increase something or decrease something by a percentage, I use 1, and for decrease I'll say take away the percentage over 100, and for an increase I'll say 1 plus 5.3 over 100, but that has got a little 2 up there because that's a compound. That's your time for your compound. And you could type that into your calculator right away, but you might want to just work out the bracket to get the decimal number if you want. But that's going to come out as 0.958, and this is going to come out as 1.053 squared. Now some people just go straight to this, right? They just know that if I take away 4.2% from 100%, I'm left with 95.8%. And like we said before, to get from a percentage to a decimal, we divide by 1,000. Some people can just do that. But if you do this sum, you're always going to end up not making a mistake. You always end up in the right place. The mistake people make is, an increase of 5%, they do 1.5. But that'd be 50%, not 5. So always remember it's 1 plus or minus your percentage over 100 if you want to increase or decrease something by a percentage, and n if it's a compound. So when you put that in your calculator, we should get 254,937, and it's money, so I'm just rounding it off to 3. I'll call that 37. Okay. But the question also wants 3 significant figures, and again, look what I'm doing. I'm constantly underlining, ticking off the things that I've used just to remind me, because there's a lot of words in these. So get a good strategy when you're going through. Right, 3 significant figures. Well, that's 1, 2, 3, and after that I'm going to cut off. So the 2 and the 5 are going to stay the same. Do I round the 4 up? Yes, I do. Find your place, look next door. If it's 5 or greater, add 1 more. There's my final place. Look next door. That's bigger than 5. That goes up. And then I need to put in 0, 0, 0 for place value. I do not put in the numbers after the decimal. No, no, no. That would be wrong. But this bit here would be right, because I don't need after the decimal for the place value. It doesn't make any sense. I don't need that. So if you put that in, that becomes significant, which gives you the wrong answer. This we do need for the place value, okay? And yeah, don't forget your units for money as well. So this is now kind of looking at the decimal and the compound aspect of percentages. For the non-calculator, we were looking at turning our percentages into either fractions to help compare and work things out. When you've got your calculator, you tend to put them into a decimal, and that's what we do here. So 1 plus is an increase, take away is a decrease, your percentage over 100. Okay. Likewise, if I just wanted to work out a percentage of a number, it would just be this bit in here. This 1 helps me do it in one stage of increasing and decreasing. If I just want the percentage of something, I will times it by percentage over 100. Nice one.